I caught my husband with my son's fiancée before the wedding. I was in total shock when I found out. I always believed my family was perfect, or at least close to it. We weren't rich, but we had love, laughter, and trust. My husband, Daniel, had been my partner for over 25 years. We'd weathered storms, raised our only son, Ethan, and dreamed of growing old together. When Ethan announced his engagement to a sweet, polite young woman named Lily, my heart swelled with pride. I thought life couldn't get any better. But that illusion shattered one afternoon, the moment I walked into a room and saw the unthinkable. It all started just 3 days before Ethan's wedding. The house was buzzing with excitement. I was knee-deep in flower arrangements and table plans when Lily stopped by. She said she needed to pick up her wedding shoes, which she had accidentally left in Ethan's old room. Daniel offered to help her look, saying he knew exactly where she'd put them. I thought nothing of it. After all, Daniel had become like a second father to her. An hour passed, then 2. I assumed they had run an errand together. But when I called Daniel, his phone went straight to voicemail. Something in my chest tightened, a strange, uneasy feeling. I tried to brush it off, but my instincts whispered something wasn't right. I decided to drive to our lake house, a quiet place we used for family weekends. Daniel had mentioned he might drop by there to check on some wedding decorations stored in the garage. As I parked the car, I saw his SUV outside. My heart calmed slightly, until I noticed a familiar floral scarf hanging from the rearview mirror. It was Lily's. My hands trembled as I pushed the door open. Inside, the faint scent of her perfume filled the air. The living room was empty, but I heard muffled voices upstairs, laughter, low and intimate. My stomach turned. I took a shaky breath, climbed the stairs, and followed the sound to the master bedroom. What I saw made my knees give way. Daniel and Lily, my husband and my son's bride-to-be, were together, wrapped in each other's arms like lovers. For a moment, I couldn't move. My world stopped. Daniel's eyes went wide when he saw me. Lily gasped, scrambling to cover herself. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. Margaret, wait, it's not what it looks like. Daniel stammered. Not what it looks like. I whispered, my voice trembling. You're in bed with our son's fiancée, Daniel. How much worse can it look? Tears blurred my vision as I backed away. My hands shook so violently I could barely hold onto the doorframe. Lily started crying, pleading, please, Margaret, I didn't mean for this to happen. It just did. I didn't want to hear another word. I left the lake house and drove home in silence, tears streaming down my face. I didn't know whether to be furious, heartbroken, or sick. How could 2 people I trusted most betray me and Ethan like this? That night, I sat in Ethan's empty room, holding one of his childhood photos, the one where he was smiling with missing front teeth. He didn't deserve this. No one did. I cried until there were no tears left. By morning, my sorrow turned into resolve. I needed to protect my son from this betrayal, no matter how much it broke me. The next day, Daniel came home, his face pale and guilt-ridden. I made a mistake, he said. It was stupid, impulsive, I didn't mean to hurt anyone. You destroyed our family, I replied coldly. Do you have any idea what this will do to Ethan? He begged me not to tell him, to let the wedding continue as planned. The audacity of that request made my blood boil. You think he'll let my son marry the woman who betrayed him with his own father? I said, my voice trembling with rage. You've lost your mind. I knew what I had to do. That evening, I asked Ethan to come home. He was glowing with pre-wedding excitement, talking about the honeymoon, the future, the house he'd just bought. My heart broke knowing I was about to crush his joy. Ethan, I began gently, there's something you need to know. About Lily, and your father. At first, he laughed in disbelief. Mom, that's insane. Dad, with Lily? No way. But when I handed him the scarf I found in Daniel's car and told him what I saw, his expression changed. His face went blank, then red, then pale. He stormed out before I could stop him. Hours later, he returned, eyes hollow, fists clenched. It's true, he said quietly. I confronted her. She admitted everything. That night, Ethan canceled the wedding. Word spread quickly among our relatives and friends. There were whispers, judgment, and pity. But amid the chaos, I stood by my son. I cooked for him, listened when he needed to vent, and held him when he cried. Daniel tried to reach out to us, begging for forgiveness. I told him forgiveness might come one day, but reconciliation never would. Our marriage ended quietly, with a single signature that closed 25 years of life together. As for Lily, she left town soon after. I later heard she'd moved abroad, trying to start over. Ethan struggled for months, but slowly, I saw him heal. He poured himself into his work, surrounded himself with loyal friends, and even started volunteering at a youth center. One day, a year later, as we sat by the same lake that once witnessed my heartbreak, Ethan said softly, "Mom, I'm glad you told me. It hurt like hell, but at least I know who's real in my life." Tears filled my eyes, not of sadness this time, but pride. We had survived. I realized betrayal can shatter you, but it can also set you free. It shows you who truly matters, who stands with you when the world falls apart. I lost a husband, yes, but I kept my self-respect, and I helped my son keep his heart from breaking beyond repair. Today, I look back and see that moment not as the end of my story, but the beginning of a new one, a story of strength, healing, and the kind of love that betrayal can never destroy, a mother's love. And that, I learned, is the kind that always survives.